All right, everybody, protect yourself at all times. We are on it. Here we go. Ron Futrell with the latest edition of the Vegas Sportscast for you. On this Sunday evening, okay, we're doing a special edition for you tonight with a lot going on. Raiders getting set to play at Miami, so that's happening. They need a win. Raiders sort of got to get a win. They can't be messing around, but they got a Sunday night football game against Miami on the road tonight, so that is happening. But before we get into that, I got to talk about some of the stuff over the weekend. First of all, Vegas Golden Knights with a big win at Ottawa. This was a fun, entertaining hockey game. First game north of the border for the Vegas Golden Knights, and they pull off the victory. They get the win at Ottawa. Ottawa Senators is a pretty good team, probably the best team they have played this year, along with Detroit, probably two of the time, and they were able to win this game. Max Lagacé. Anyway, Max. Hey, good job, Max. got the victory. It's Legacy is what it is. Gets the victory, his first victory. Congratulations to you, Max, and to the Vegas Golden Knights for being able to get that win. And there's all facets of the game. Power plays. There were 3 out of 5 on power plays in the game for the Vegas Golden Knights. So they take off Monday. They got a game against Toronto. So there's the real test. Toronto, Tampa Bay, and the Vegas Golden Knights are 3 of the top teams in the NHL this year, and the LA Kings right up there, top 4 probably in the NHL is what you would have right there. So Toronto is going to be a true test for the Vegas Golden Knights on their 4th-string goalie. So we'll see what they can do, if they can make a change. I say make a change, but Max is doing well, as good as can be expected, being put in that position. But waiting to find out with Marc-Andre Fleury, certainly, when he comes back from that concussion. It has now been more than 2 weeks. They said it was going to be a week at the time, but it's been much longer. Malcolm Subban with the groin pull. That's going to be a while for him. So that's what you got right now, waiting to see what happens with the Vegas Golden Knights. But still, 9-4 record right now. Expansion team with a 9-4 record. That's what's incredible, and congratulations to them and what they're doing here in town right now on this road trip as well. With goalie without their top goalie, without their top 3 goalies, they're still playing pretty well. Okay. That being said, now we got the UFC last night. Was that a fun fight card or what? That was one of the best I have ever seen, top to bottom, with that fight card. First of all, you had Rose shocking the world with a win over JJ, okay? Strawweight title for the gals. And she was just stunning the way she came back. Lost the first round, came back, and in the second round, ends up winning the fight with a knockout. TJ Dillashaw stunned Cody Garbrandt to be able to win there, and that was just shocking the way that fight went, and a lot of people were surprised. That was after probably losing the first round. He came back in the second round and was able to win that fight with a knockout. And then Michael Bisping against GSP. The comeback of GSP has been 4.5 years since George St. Pierre had been in the ring with the UFC, and he's able to come back. First round was pretty close, but in the second round, he got Bisping down, hit him with a right, and had him on the ground. I thought the fight should have been called there as a knockout. It wasn't. Then GSP said, okay, if you're not going to stop it with a knockout, I'm just going to get behind this guy and rear naked choke him, which he did. And Bisping didn't even tap out at that point. They finally had passed out, and they had to stop the fight there. And GSP, it's just what a great champion he's been forever. And now is the middleweight champ. Now has the middleweight champ, one of the best welterweight fighters ever, probably the best in UFC history. Now he's got that belt and that championship. And that UFC 217 in Madison Square Garden was one of the best shows I've ever seen them put on. And I've seen them all. I've been here for them all. I've covered them all. Been here when the UFC started back in the day, year 2000, around there, when the Fertittas bought the UFC. Of course, now they've sold the UFC for $4 billion. But that being said, just a fantastic night for the UFC with those fights. Very entertaining. Can't say that often enough because it flat out was. It was just very entertaining. 218 is coming up next, okay? So they got that fight, a pretty good fight card there. We'll talk more about that in the future. You can go to our website, too, thevegasportscast.com, and find out more on that and other things. Okay, UNLV Sports. Wow. A good weekend, great weekend for UNLV Sports. First of all, Rebel basketball, an exhibition game against Alaska Fairbanks. They win by 22 points, as expected. But as expected, it's just a matter of taking care of business for this Rebel basketball team now. After the horrific season last year, their worst ever in the history of Rebel basketball, lost by 36 at home to Reno, okay, and last place in the bad Mountain West Conference. So they started it out the way that they needed to this year with an exhibition victory against Alaska Fairbanks. And this is the makings of a pretty good basketball team. So we shall see if Marvin Menzies can put everything together and make this happen. Rebel football, wow, what a comeback win against Hawaii. That was just a great win for Rebel football, and this team is coming back, okay? Love the trophy, by the way, the Pineapple Trophy that they've got for UNLV against Hawaii. It's been a classic matchup for these two schools over the years, back and forth. Now they got a trophy to talk about it, and they unveiled that, and the Rebels have the first trophy with the win. More important for UNLV, what this does is it puts them in contention for a bowl bid. They now have to win 2 of their last 3 games to win a bowl game. Their record is 4-5, so they got 4 wins on the season. They play, and each of the teams they're playing have losing records. So they could win all 3 of these games. They might be favored in all 3. They play BYU. BYU ain't BYU this year. They're 2-8. Okay, BYU is really struggling. But playing here against UNLV, there's going to be a lot of BYU fans in the stands for this game. So this will be a hard-fought football game. Should be a close football game. But anyway, that being said, UNLV needs to win 2 of its final 3 games. The game against BYU, then they play on the road at New Mexico State. They should be favored in that one. Then they play on the road at Reno. Reno's 1-8 this year. Reno's having just one of their worst seasons ever. But Reno would love nothing more than to be able to beat UNLV and knock them out of bowl contention. So they don't want it to come down to that. What UNLV needs to do is win these next 2 games. Don't make it come down to what they do at Reno, because anything can happen up there at Mackey Stadium in Reno. So a lot going on right now. Getting ready to watch the Raiders take on the Miami Dolphins tonight, and the Raiders 3-point favorites. So the Dolphins getting 3 points at home in this matchup against the Raiders tonight. So that's what's going on. A lot going on in Vegas sports. It'll be a busy week for you. So we'll keep you posted on the latest and greatest here at the Vegas Sportscast. Download us in a number of different areas. Tell a friend. You can download us off iTunes. Download us off, we're on Google Play. We are there. We're iHeartRadio. You can go to our websites, my website, ronfutrell.com, or thevegasportscast.com, and you can listen to them live there and download them there as well. So we are the number one sports podcast in Las Vegas. Okay, we've got over 1,000 plays so far, and moving up, and happy about that because we're building on this and getting people used to this and trying to do them on a daily basis. These shorter ones, basically, it's me with my iPhone here with a nice little microphone, okay, with a little Zoom microphone on it. But we do the larger versions, Bill O'Donnell and I, the longer versions, and when we put the full, get the crew together and have that happen with the full-on equipment so we can do a lot of different things with it, take phone calls and that sort of stuff. So this is another one of those short versions. I hope you like them. If you do, tell a friend. Download it, share it with others. That's it. That's the way I see it. I'm Ron Futrell. You've been listening to the Vegas Sportscast. Bye for now, everybody.